sister-in-law just had surgery for stomach cancer. They took out 2/3 of her stomach. You better believe I prayed hard for her. No little mammy-pammy prayers. I was praying for my sister-in-law. She'd get well. But sometimes I need to pray. I need to get on my knees. I need to get on my face. This is a real big prayer. But I'm going to just lie here because I'm tired. And I'll say, Lord, would you do? And I'm gone. That ain't praying hard. That's not really even praying. Praying hard means conscious and sincere. I started praying for you a month ago. When I got a call to come speak for you on this particular night, and I started praying for you. Now, my prayers are very poor, but I dang sure do it. And I didn't know who would be here, didn't know how many would be here, but I could picture in my mind what you look like. And you look exactly like I thought. You look like you're smart, you're nice looking, you're good looking folks, and you look interested. And that's what I've been praying for. And I'm going to tell you something. You can accomplish anything you set your mind to. You dream big and pray hard, and God only knows what you'll do. The third thing is not only dream big and pray hard, but think long. Think long. Now, y'all hear that all the time. But what it means is this. What I'm doing tonight, how is it going to affect my life tomorrow, or next week, or next year, or 10 years from now, or when you're 67? What I'm doing right now, how is this going to affect my life? Now, tomorrow night, when y'all go on the field, you know this, because y'all are the ones running the plays. When you run your something, whatever, wide right, whatever you call the plays now, we had all kinds of crazy names, but when you, whatever play you're going to run, every play in your offensive playbook is designed to do what? Score a touchdown. Every play is designed to do that. And if everything is executed just right, you're going to score a touchdown every time you touch the football. But there's an opposition over there. And they are working on defenses, and they're reading you. Y'all know all that. But they're reading you, they're doing all that stuff, and they say they're going to try to make a touchdown on this play. I don't care if it's a quarterback sneak, a quarterback draw. I don't care if it's off-tackle slant. I don't care if it's right up the guard or right up the center's botukas. Everything that you want to do is to score a touchdown, and that defensive line saying, we ain't going to let them through here. So you've got an opposition. Think long. Think long. You know who you're going to be facing tomorrow night. You've looked at the films, you've studied, the coaches have prepared you. You know what you do. All right? When I do this, how is it going to affect our team? Think long. Look at your own life. Let me tell you something about dreaming big. You know how you advance and improve, don't you? If practice starts at 3:30 and you're on the field at 3:30, what does that mean? You're late. That sounds funny. But if somebody told me, if the coach said we practice at 3:30, I was on the field at 3:15. If the coach said practice is over at 5:30, I was off the field at 5:45. I'm not saying you got to give extra time every day. But when you dream big, you pray hard and think long, you know what you do, don't you? You give extra effort. You go farther than anybody else will go. In the classroom, you want to make your grades because you want to get out of this school and you want to advance, whether you're going to college or whatever you're going to do. You got to think long. The grades you make a difference. Y'all hear that all the time. Anyway, think long. The fourth thing is this, and I think it pulls all three together. You got to believe. You got to believe. Because if you believe, you can do it. You can. My mother was Cherokee Indian. She had a saying, and I love all those old Cherokee sayings. She said the old Cherokees used to say, and my granddaddy would tell me, if you shoot at an eagle, you'll hit a rock. But if you'll shoot at the sun, you'll hit an eagle. Aim high, young folks. Aim high. Don't settle for anything but the absolute best. I'm going to tell you something. Good is the worst enemy of the best. We don't want to settle for good. We want to go for the best. And I promise you, you can do it. There was a young man, I'll close this because it's time to eat. There was a young man grew up in Bessemer, Alabama. It's right outside Birmingham. I never met him. I wish I could have. Because he was still alive after I was growing up. I was, I guess, in high school, and he was still living. But I never met him. He grew up in Bessemer, but he moved away and went to college, and then he did some other things. But I heard a lot about him. Talked to people who knew him. And when he was 14 years old, he went up to a coach who came to speak at their school. He was in the dressing room, and he walked up to this coach because that coach had said, listen, if you will have dreams, if you'll just dream big, and you'll pray, and you'll work hard, and you trust God, you can do anything you want to do. And this young man took that to heart at 14 years of age. He went up to that coach after he spoke that day. This young man was short. He was kind of stocky. He had big feet. But the coach looked at him and he said, hey, son, how you doing? He said, I'm fine. He said, I heard what you said. He said, well, good. And he looked at this young man and he said, do you have some dreams? He said, yes, sir, I do. He said, do you want to tell me what your dream is? He said, yes, sir, I'd like to. Because I'm afraid to tell anybody else. I think they'd laugh at me. And this coach, according to the story, he leaned over and got right down on the same level with this young man. And he said, what's your dream? He said, Coach, I love to run. And the coach didn't laugh and say, well, you might want to try something else. He didn't do that. He said, I love to run. I know I'm short, got big old feet, and I'm kind of, but I love to run. And my dream is to be the fastest man in the world. I want to be the fastest man that ever lived. I run all the time, and I love it. You know what that coach did? He didn't crack a smile. Right there, and that young man's right there close to his face. He said, do you remember what I said? Yes, sir, I do. You work hard. You pray, you trust God. You have a big dream, you can do anything you want to do. 8 years later, in Munich, Germany, that young man was in the Olympics. Jesse Owens. Jesse won 2 gold medals for speed. He tied and got a gold medal in the long jump. Wasn't even his event. But their long jumper got sick, and the coach said, Jesse, can you do it? He said, yes, sir. And he tied and tied for a new world's record. But he set 2 world speed records that day and became the fastest man in the world and the fastest man that had ever lived. You Google him, Jesse Owens. It'll tell you more than I've told you. But he believed in dreaming big, and until he was 76 years of age, from the time he was 22 till he was 76, he traveled all over the world telling his story. You know what he always closed with? You'll have a big dream. Work hard. You pray and trust God. You can do anything that you want to do. I believe Jesse Owens. And that's what I pattern after. And you can do that too. So let me ask you a question. Don't answer. Just ask you a question. What you hauling? What do you haul on weekends? What are we hauling during the week? Because that's what your heart is about. The heart is the mind, the inner being, or the character and the intentions. That's what we're hauling. I thank God for you. I really do. You say you don't even know me. I don't know you personally, but I know right where you are in a lot of ways. I know what's going on to some extent in your hearts and minds because I've been in the seats you're in right now. You can do it.